My dad got scammed the other night.
Really?
Facebook sponsored ad. Told him he was a bloody idiot, right? But
that's what he needed to hear.
Yeah, well, it's my dad, innit? I can tell him.
Totally.
Told him he was a silly old sod. He's not great now, but I said, look, what? Because we went to the coast and he couldn't walk. I said, why don't you get one of those scooters, Dad? He said, no, they're for bloody old people, aren't they? I said, no, look, but I said, at least you can get out about, you can, take the dog for a walk a little bit further and all that kind of stuff. Anyway, sends me a message 2 days ago. Listen to what he said when we were at the seaside. He said, I've gone and bought one of those scooters, £27, including delivery. I'm like, what? So I've got this vision. My dad, we'll buy something cheap once and then buy it properly again. So I've got this vision. He's going to bought one of those 2-wheeled scooters and he's going to like push himself along like the teenagers. All right, okay. So what's it do? He said, it folds down to like a suitcase. It's got a remote control and a battery and all that. He said it's on that Wilco closing down site. They're getting rid of all their stuff. And he said it was through a Facebook sponsored ad. I said, Dad, really? He said, well, if it doesn't turn up, he said, it's only 27 quid, isn't it? It don't really matter. I'm like, Dad, no. So I said, you paid? Yeah. I said, right, can you please just send me a photo of the site? He said, there's loads of stuff on there. There's all sorts of stuff on there. I'm like, oh, you want to have a look? I'm like, Dad, please. But that site was up for about, it's been up for a few days. I've since gone back and checked it a couple of times. Yeah. And they've taken 3 payments off his card. But you would think something like Facebook should be vetting paid ads or sites in some way.
But how? How? Like what are you vetting? I agree, and this is it's actually it's into the.
I was going to say it's jumping into.
It's really topical
into the whole trust.
Like if you think about the scale that Facebook are going to go through with their ads and what checks. I mean, I'm sure there are some checks they can do. I mean, I don't know. I mean, I bet Joe and Chris did. They do. You guys do Facebook ads, right?
Well, I managed to get myself banned from it also.
Yeah. Maybe it's just that you can get it on there just long enough to take advantage. You don't need it to be there long term, do you? It's like get banned, but if you've got it on there for a week, even 2 or 3 days, you get those click throughs from people like your dad and other people. The deal's too good to be true, but it's so good to be even not too good to be true. Actually, it's so cheap, you're kind of willing to take the risk. It's quite interesting with that psychology, isn't it?
If you build a legitimate e-commerce site with super cheap prices, it's not up to Facebook to audit the authenticity of your website, is it really?
It's just a website, right? It's just a
website selling products. They don't say, oh, that's a bit too cheap.
Yeah. Is this company X? Do they have authority to, I don't even know they would say this, authority to present that website in the ad? Beyond that, what's on the page, what they're asking you to pay for to do is, all they're doing is promoting your site, right? And I bet if we looked at their terms and conditions, there will be something in there that says something like, we do not check the validity of XYZ. All we do is promote the URL that we've been given or something like that.
Well, but it comes back to the original point that we were saying with, and instantly on Facebook, you think, well, surely Facebook have checked it. But I'm guessing with all the programmatic SEO stuff that, obviously we can do, these people can also do it on these sort of e-commerce sites, and, they can just multiply it by however much with the programmatic stuff.
Absolutely. What I would say is this site's had a good look around it. The level of detail that was in there was unbelievable. The number of products, the level of detail in each individual product. Yeah. So it's not like somebody's just put, some basic stuff up there.
Yeah. They've made it look legit.
There's videos, there's spec sheets, there's lots of additional content that were around it, and loads, hundreds, if not thousands of products on there thousands of products to browse through.
To try and interject some AI into that, and I would like to think about how they could use that, or they would have done. You can use that to create descriptions. You can use that to a point with image generators to create images. I'm not saying they did this, maybe they just did it manually and stuff, but what it does, it lowers the barrier to entry. So let's say I'm a scammer, I'm really good at scamming, but I don't have many skills in maybe English isn't my first language. I don't have many skills in web development. I don't know how to do X, Y, and Z. With AI tools, I can now, the barrier to entry is lower. I can use them to create descriptions. I can use it to create the website to a point. You know, I've seen these website builders using AI and stuff, and they're middling. They're sometimes okay. They're not great, but it does allow
Neil,
them
to comment on that
it.
point, like the theme I use, and we build a lot of our smaller sites with Cadence. They've just incorporated a whole AI functionality into the site where you literally say what your business is about, say the type of product you offer, and it generates all the copy for you in pre-built pages. And to get some believable up just takes a matter of minutes now. It's a really interesting one related to trust, actually. She just joined our team, and she received a email from purportedly Joe asking her to go and buy some iTunes vouchers.
Yeah,
she'd just joined the team, and you know, she's at that unique position where she's vulnerable and wanting to impress her new workplace, impress her new manager. And it's that stage where you'll say yes to anything your boss asks. You're getting to know the job, and you're getting to know how people work. So she's in this uniquely vulnerable position, and she was halfway to the shop when we stopped her, wasn't she?
Yeah. I was talking to a friend the other day. Now, I believe his website, it was called Replica AI. I think it still exists. And you know, I won't go into super geeky details, but with all these language models, you can train them. As ChatGPT have said, you can now use your own data to train it. And with Replica.ai and others like local models that you can download and play with if you're geeky enough, you can feed it your data. So let's say my friends have WhatsApp groups with my friends, or there's people that write a lot online. And if you can get enough data from a person of how they write, you can take that data now and you can feed it into a language model, feed it into Replica.ai and the idea, I believe, on Replica.ai was you could create a friend or a loved one that's passed or something like that. And so to take that, what you're just saying there, even further, Chris, is if you can then like make the language, there's one thing pretending to be somebody, but if you've got the right language of how that person speaks, how they sign off, obviously you've got to get access to the data, but the people are creative, they'll find ways. You get access to that data of X person or somebody quite senior, the CEO of a company. I'm sure there's a lot of information, how they talk. You can voice to transcribe that. There's all this data. They grab it. They can use it then to create messages and things that are, you know, so we're taking fake domains and then with a fake persona, but with language that sounds like that person. That's terrifying.
You gave an example of AOL, and you know, you had a phishing scam where they used AOL, and you would think, yeah, okay, massive brand, of course they're going to get phished. Whereas someone like AAG, Sabroso, Cyber Alchemy, why would we be targeted? You know, why would someone try and impersonate Joe at Sabroso? Like, you know, what are they going to get out? But it happens. It clearly happens. I don't mean that in any sort of offensive way, Joe, but you know what I'm saying? Like, people think that, oh, it's just Amazon. It's just the Amazon phishing emails that I get. You know, everyone gets that your account's your Prime's going to be cancelled or whatever. But yeah, like you say, you get someone in a really vulnerable position. It doesn't matter whether it's Amazon or, you know, whether it's just a small to medium business. It happens on the daily all the time. And arguably, we're more of a target because of that, because there's a lot more vulnerability around that.
Yeah, and when you have a public facing persona, like, you know, what we talk about in marketing is be public and make yourself known to people so that you become, you know, it's influencer stuff, right? You want people to know you as a person in your industry, so they come to you with their problems, right? The problem with doing that is you're basically creating that data set that allows someone to then replicate you. So I mean, we're looking at this site now that you just mentioned, little Replica. It's absolutely harrowing to look at. Like the idea that this could be like the testimonials were great. It's like I've never had someone this close to me, and I thought I'm no longer lonely, and that's amazing. But the flip side of that is, what data is it being trained on? And like I could, like you alluded to, I could copy the WhatsApp chat between me and Chris, and without his permission, I could, you know, recreate my business partner and then fire it, which would be
it's
I think the bit that we see, you know, we look after about 3,500 users across our client base, but we get calls about this kind of stuff every week, every couple of weeks, where there's some type of impersonation that's going on, and you look at the AI tools that are coming forward and how how that becomes far more sophisticated. It really does become frightening. But a lot of people just think it doesn't. We're a small business, or we're a mid-sized business. They're not interested in us. They absolutely are. Like I said, we see and have to deal with that kind of firsthand, week in, week out. Now, I suppose